Hi. I was wondering if you could talk a little bit about the production design on the Hasbro side of like the Transformers Prime toys, the communication with the studio, if there was any back and forth or notes given, that kind of thing.
Yeah, you know, one thing that really sticks out in my head is Beast Hunters kind of came out of nowhere. We had a direction for season 3. We knew where we were going to go, we knew where we wanted it to end, and we had the concept for what the follow-up show would be, and if you ever heard of a character called Thundertron, we were thinking pirates. They go back to Cybertron, and they're invaded by the pirates. And each of the pirates, there were 13 pirates, and there were 13 colonies. And each Transformer was from a colony. And Cosmos, he was like the Silver Surfer of Thundertron and the pirates, and he was from Gobatron. And we created this one scene where you see the reflection, like he's talking about Thundertron invading, and you see the reflection of a planet in a Cosmos' eyes, and then there's an explosion, and it leaves the apple core. But about the toys. So about the toys. At that time, there seemed to be a lot of animosity between the design team and the production team because the studio team wanted more freedom. And the design teams had certain restrictions that, hey, listen, we can't do this in a toy form, or it would be difficult for us to do this. Can you put in more characters? And the studio was like, well, we're already over budget. We can't put any more characters in. And it came to a head at season 3 where there was some staff changing, and a new design director was put in place on the toy side. And he said, we need animals. We need animals, and we like Imagine Dragons, and we need dragons. We need to fight dragons. And so Beast Hunters was just kind of thrust in there in season 3, and the next show just kind of went away all of a sudden. And because of the very short design period, the studio said, well, we're going to design Optimus the way we're going to make him, based off a certain silhouette. And the toy team said, we're going to make him how we see he should look, based off the same silhouette, which is why they look very different from the toy as opposed to the show. It was also somehow in the design team's head that the other characters would get upgrades as well, and so that's how those other toys became Beast Hunter toys. Unfortunately, there was not a budget for that on the show side. It's another reason why Predaking looks so drastically different in the toy as opposed to the show. Short time to develop, and basically saying, all right, here's the silhouette. We're each going to design our own Predaking based off this one silhouette that we both agree on. Come on up.
Okay.
I feel a little underdressed compared to...
I have somebody over here, 1 second.
Oh, okay, go away.
Hi. So you worked on the character design and visual design, or story design?
I started off, brought in as a toy design.
Okay.
And then I was moved over to the entertainment side. So anything with like video games, IDW, licensed stuff, apps, movies, TV show, came through me.
Okay. Thank you.
Oh, okay. I gotta go to this guy, and then we can chat.
Everyone's coming at me with microphones. Okay. So bouncing off of that previous question with Thundertron and such, when the message came to you, let's get animals, let's get dragons, was there ever any thought into, well, let's just make all of the pirates animals and dragons? And if so, what led you away from that?
Good question. First of all, this gentleman right here looks like Simon Furman, and it's freaking me out.
Oh my gosh.
Okay, so what was, oh yeah, so no. The pirates basically just, it kind of ended, because we really were set on Thundertron being Thundertron, because it was kind of our FU to Thundercats and Voltron, because he was a cat. So Thundertron. And that's one of my favorite toys, because he has a peg leg. So he's a real pirate because he has a peg leg. We knew that there were some toys in the back burner that we wanted to bring, and we looked at the Galvatron from Beast Wars 2. Unfortunately, that mold no longer exists. We looked at some of the Beast Wars toys to reuse as Amazon exclusives. We looked at Predaking, like the G1 Predaking, and doing some funky colors and bring it back as an exclusive. But unfortunately, that stuff, the market started shrinking, and there were less and less exclusives at the time. Which is why the Dark Energon guys ended up at Big Bad Toy Store. I think those were maybe Walmart or Amazon, and they just kind of got dropped, and Big Bad picked them up.
Was it true that for the 4th season you were going to make it with Galvatron?
No. No, for Transformers Prime, no. Our idea was to kill off Megatron and be done with him. It was we were gonna move on. Our direction was, we don't care which Decepticon's liver die, as long as Knockout stays alive. We saw Knockout as the breakout Decepticon, and we wanted to make sure there was a strongly worded email that said, "You will not kill this character off."
So I feel as if in both Age of Extinction and in Transformers Prime, there was some influence from other Transformers lore, like Transformers Animated, especially with character choices and having a strong central cast of Autobots that we could focus on characters. Were there, whether it was animated or not, were there parts of Transformers lore and storytelling that you thought were especially strong points that you wanted to bring into your creative control?
We knew we wanted to change the cast up. Originally, Drift was always in there. He was always going to be there, but he was IDW Drift. He was the white car. We basically took IDW artwork and we reworked it to make it look like a real-life car. We wanted Drift to be the ninja, and Takara came to us and said, "We are a bit concerned that he may speak in a negative stereotype." And I was the one who was directed to tell them, "We are sorry, but we don't control that, unfortunately." Smokescreen. Crosshairs, was that his name? Crosshairs was originally Smokescreen, because Smokescreen was in Transformers Prime, and we visualized him as a boxer. And we sent in the artwork with the 38s on the side in the Smokescreen color, and he had these big, giant boxing gloves on him, because we always thought of him as the hand-to-hand fighter. And then Hound, we took a G.I. Joe Vamp, added a few details to it, and that's what we pitched as Hound. And we pitched him very much as IDW's Cup, with the Cygar and everything. That's how we pitched him. And the vehicle choice was great, but to me that vehicle choice was more indicative of Bulkhead. I wish they kind of maybe changed the character a little bit and made him Bulkhead.
I was just wondering, this has been a question burning in my mind for years. So in the original series, we see how the Insecticons came to be. I was wondering if you were ever going to explain how insect-like Decepticons came into the Transformers Prime world, because it's never explained.
They just are. They just are. Oh, but you had a second part to your question about lore and stuff. We had the big binder of Revelation, and we would always look to that, to like, oh, all right, is it time for Cosmic Rust? Is it time for the last Autobot? So we would always look to see what things from the lore we could tell, but that was almost an afterthought after we got a draft back from the studios as to what else we could inject and whether they'd be okay with that.